verse 5 and read from verse 5 and 6 and 7. Watch for the Idumea. Okay. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, that's a remnant of the heathen, against all Idumea. Idumea is another name for Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession. So the Edomites have appointed Yah's land into their possession. Therefore, there's only one group of people that we know have appointed Yah's land to their possession. That's the Ashkenazis that come from Europe and Eastern Europe. They have appointed Yah's land for their possession through what's called the Balfour Agreement that they made with the UK in the early 20th century. Okay, that's why they're there. Got nothing to do with us. But they have appointed Yah's land, which he says his eye is always on, for their possession. And not only that, notice to finish it, with the joy of all their heart. That's them Zionists, so-called Zionists. You want to see how much Zion they got? The Messiah come and stomp them all out. With despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Prophecy, therefore, concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith Most High Yahweh, I have lifted up my hand, surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. Oh, yes. Brothers and sisters, the Bible does say in Revelation chapter 18 that he has appointed to the heathen double. What they have done to us, going to come back on them double. All we have to do at this point is be prepared. Brothers and sisters, remember, our fathers came out of Egypt and they were delivered. They went under the rod. They entered into the covenant. Okay, they went under the rod into the covenant. You know, he said he got to do that again. Ezekiel chapter 20. He said he got to do that again. Ezekiel chapter 20. He's going to do that a second time. But he did it the first time. They entered under the rod. That was Moses' rod when he stretched it out and the Red Sea parted and they went through on dry land. And then after that, they ended up at Mount Sinai. And he spoke the covenant to the nation. He has never done that to any people before or since. See, this stuff is forever. See, that's what I'm saying. People that think that he's all of a sudden changed and he's not going to bring back his original nation, obviously they don't know our Creator. They're used to worshiping wood and stone and white Jesus, and they used to being confused, thinking there's two different gods, one for the Old Testament, one for the New Testament, or that somehow the Most High has changed his mind and he was mean and arbitrary in the Old Testament, and he's nice and flowery in the New. Our God doesn't change. When he does something, it's forever. He made a covenant with our fathers. He spoke the covenant so that over 1 million people, see, there were 600,000 men, 660,000 men of war, not including women and children. There were well over 1 million people, because everybody knows, anybody that has any sense, anybody that's paying any attention knows that women always outnumber men. There's always 2 or 3 women for a man on earth. Always outnumber men. Part of the signs of the end in some nations, you can see the numbers getting even now, because that's the end now, especially for the heathen. But generally, historically speaking, always 2 or 3 women to every man. Okay, so you're talking about 1.2 to 1.8, 1.9, almost 2 million people that word went out to, and they all heard it loud, loud, and clear. Okay, he made that covenant with our fathers, and then he sprinkled blood. He had the covenant written on the scroll, and he had Moses sprinkle the blood on the scroll and on the people. It was a blood covenant. That blood represented later what will become Messiah. When Messiah said, this is the blood of the New Testament, or the renewed covenant that I'm making with you. He don't forget those things. They don't go away. So when we worship other gods, he has punished us strongly. But at this time, the first angel is bringing us back to our God. These situations has brought forth this COVID virus, this awakening, no pun intended, as to the murder of black males, especially but black females also, who are the Hebrews. This murderous stuff is people awakening. And why is that? The Most High, now the heathen got their reasons for it. We're going to talk about that. But the Most High's reasons are the most important. The Most High's reasons are to awaken us to our God, because he's our only hope. Marching ain't gonna get it done. I'm sorry to say, Black Lives Matter, people tripping because people not supporting Black Lives Matter. I'm just gonna let me give you all a hint. Malcolm X revealed to us before he died that a man named Stephen Currier, a Caucasian man, multimillionaire, with some other Caucasian multimillionaires that were of Ashkenazis and Catholics, put money together and paid what they call the Big Six. That is Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy, and them, and I forgot all their names, Core and Snit. He paid them people and put these men that were handpicked in front of the movement to control the movement of the civil rights, to control it. I want to submit to you that Black Lives Matter is the same thing. It's a funded organization that, what are they doing? Peacefully protesting. Ask yourself a question. Has peaceful protest got us anywhere? Are we not? They said now the school system is, when I say they, government people and people in politics and people in media have already said that the segregation now is worse than it was in 1955. The schools that most of the Hebrews go to are substandard, both in equipment they get, facilities, teacher, substandard. It's worse now. This is after our men and women getting their body parts bitten by dogs and blown up by bombs. That's after all that. After they passed laws. So really, that peaceful marching mess didn't do nothing for us. It showed us that we were capable of coming together if we needed to, but we were being used and exploited again. And it's happening now. The Black Lives Matter movement is just peaceful marching. That's all it is. And it's funded. And the leaders, which are a couple of lesbians, are placed there. Then you got other fake puppets like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson coming up here and acting like they represent all of us. They definitely not Moses, and they definitely not the 144,000. If you read in your Bible, you understand they puppets to keep us from doing what we would normally do if they weren't there. Okay? That's all it is. And that right there, if you come to that truth, you will understand there's no hope in Black Lives Matter. There's no hope in peaceful marches. There's no hope in open rebellion either. We undermanned, even though that really, I don't buy into that undermanned stuff. People talk about we don't have as much people as the Caucasians because Gideon only had 300. And the Bible says that when he's with us, the Most High is with us, one of us can put 10,000 to flight. So I'm not worried about being outnumbered. But I do concern myself with the method that the Most High wants us to employ. Okay? And that method is righteousness. There's a preparation. I started to say our fathers entered into blood covenant at Sinai. They went into the wilderness and many of our fathers fell. Why? Because the Bible says because of rebellion. It says in Hebrew because of unbelief. But if you look up that word unbelief in the Greek, it's rebellion. And he had to cast out the rebels. Why? There was a preparation that was necessary for our fathers to be ready to inherit that kingdom, so that they would go into that kingdom, that land, and they would not worship other gods. They would not practice the practice of the heathen because they'd have been prepared. So what happened? After 40 years, he did purge out the rebels. And when they got into the land, all the men that were of Joshua's age were faithful. All the men that outlived Joshua came in the second generation were faithful. The third generation was faithful, but that fourth generation, they went back to worshiping Baal. And that was a problem. And that started the downslide that ended up putting us where we are right now. Now, there's still a preparation. This preparation is different. The new covenant or renewed covenant ends up with us in the kingdom, not having to teach each other about Yah like I'm trying to teach people now. No, I won't be needed to do that. Why? Because we will all know him. We won't be arguing as to whether the world is flat or round, because we will all know the truth. We'll be on the same page. He said he's going to restore unto us a pure language. That's to say in Zephaniah chapter 3, that pure language, all of us going to speak one speech. We're not going to misunderstand each other. We're not going to be arguing and fighting the kingdom of righteousness and truth where nobody dies and nobody's left wanting. Unlike this capitalist system that has one small group of people at the top and the rest of us on the bottom. And half of them brainwashed don't even realize why they're on the bottom. Okay? But that kingdom is what we're being prepared for. And the preparation is a preparation of character. It's a preparation of spirit. When Yah's spirit is on a person and sealed on that person, like it was with Elijah, it can be carried up into the heaven on a chariot of fire. You can go 40 days with no food and survive. Or like it was with Moses, no food, no drink for 80 days because he did 42 times. And have his faith glowing. Not hungry, not thirsty, not weak. See, when you have the spirit of Yah, you can walk on water if he needs you to. You can raise the dead if he needs you to. What money could pay for that? That's the preparation we need. That's the preparation we're getting by the spirit of righteousness. That's the preparation we're getting when Messiah said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The truth, we're the true Hebrews. The truth, he has chosen us from before the foundation of the earth. The truth, he cannot replace us. We're the only ones. That's the truth. The truth, we can't be obedient to his law unless we're covered in his spirit of righteousness. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith Yah. That's the truth. That's the present truth. And that's what we're doing right now. This first angel's message is about preparation. I'm going to talk a little bit later about the second angel's message, but the first angel's message is about preparation. Preparing us for the second phase, which we'll talk about. We're not there in the second phase yet, but I'm going to tell you, it's coming very quickly. It's coming very quickly. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 20. So, Revelation 13, obviously, I know many of you have read that, where it says in Isaiah, Revelation 13, verse 15, that it's going to come a time where we can't buy or sell. Going to come a time not only we can't buy or sell because our God, it's going to be because of who we worship. And they're going to want to kill us. Okay? Now, when we get to the point where we can't buy or sell, like if I'm in greater DC, which I am, you can be anywhere. You could be in New York, you can be in West Africa, you can be in the UK, you could be in Asia. Hebrews scattered all over the place. But it's going to come a time on a worldwide scale you can't buy or sell. You have seen this before if you're old enough. You saw it in 2001 and 2002. In 2001 and 2002, when the so-called terrorists attacked the World Trade Center in Washington, D.C., and that plane was shot down in Pennsylvania. During that time, whoever was suspected of terrorism, whoever you were, they froze your assets around the world. I used to work for a bank. I'm telling you, I've seen it. They had the countries where their assets was nailed down and nobody could touch anything. Some of the people had nothing to do with it. They was Muslim and they were suspected and they froze everything. They couldn't buy or sell. They could not buy or sell. And they froze all their stuff. Okay? So we've seen that before, recently. That was 2001, 2002. You're going to see it again. When you can't buy or sell, now it's going to be worse because not only they're going to freeze any assets you have, whether it be pension, Social Security, 401k, savings, checking, froze. You can't access it. Not only that, if you happen to have money in your mattress and you go to the store, they won't accept your money. They won't accept it. You can't buy or sell. If you have a business, ain't nobody gonna buy from you. No supplier is gonna give you anything. You can't buy or sell. Can't pay your mortgage, can't pay your rent. You're gonna be out. Let's say your house is paid off. They're gonna still put you out. Why? Can't pay your property taxes. Property taxes are everywhere. Not only that, let me take it further. Let's say you think you can escape to a country that don't charge you property taxes. Brothers and sisters, if you've been in foreign places, and I have only been to Canada, so I can't really, but I'm telling you, y'all know this. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you want to tell me if I'm wrong. Go ahead on YouTube and tell me. If you're in a foreign country, the reason they want you there is because of your money, because your American dollars or your UK pound. That's the only reason they want you there. They don't care if you black or pink. Matter of fact, in West Africa, in Ghana, some black people go there and they call them Caucasian. They call them white people, even though they be brown. They don't look at you as people that have escaped, that were taken from there. They're looking at that greenback. Okay? Now, suppose you don't get that anymore. No more pension. No more saving. No more Social Security. What you good for them then? What they care about you now? They don't. They will turn you over. So that there's no place you can hide except the wilderness. All these places got wilderness. There's wilderness in the United States. When I say wilderness, there's places where there's woods and state parks and state forests, lots of that, millions of acres in the United States, all over. Of course, in all the other nations, they got the same thing, mountains and woods, some of them jungles, some of them mountainous areas, all over the place. That's where we're going to end up. Rivers and valleys and mountains, all over the place, scattered. We have to go. Can't buy or sell and they're going to want to kill us. Got to go. And the Most High has promised to sustain us. Okay? Now, at that time, when we have to go, that's when he's going to finish the work in us. Like with our fathers. Ezekiel chapter 20. I'm going to start at verse 35. And I'm going to go down to verse 38. Ezekiel chapter 20, 35 to 38. Okay, watch. I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. See? Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Most High. See, we won't all be in Egypt, but then again, this whole Babylon system is Egypt. You understand? The whole Babylon system is Egypt. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. It's a repeat of history. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me, and I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Yes, brothers and sisters, who are the rebels? That is those that are, the Bible in the New Testament calls them unbelief. Carnal. You see what I'm saying to y'all? Moses said to Joshua, remember Joshua was jealous of Moses because 70 men were called forth, and the Most High said, bring them into the tabernacle of the congregation, and I'm going to put my spirit on them. And he did, and they started prophesying. And then Joshua got jealous because he thought Moses was supposed to be the only one. And Moses said, envy thou for my sake? He said, would to y'all that all y'all's people were prophets, and that he put his spirit on them. That's the end result. That's what he's going to have now. Starting with the 144,000. He's going to have his spirit on them. Ain't going to be, and the rebels going to be purged out. Because those that are fronting, those that are not filled with Yah's spirit, those that have another agenda, any agenda, that's not the glory of the Father alone, they'll be purged out. It's very simple, brothers and sisters. Either your heart is all in for Yah or you're not. And you know what? I don't know people's hearts, but the Creator knows every heart. Everyone. He makes no mistakes. And when I come to him every day, I come to him and I say, look at me, try me, show me the way of truth, and let me just walk in there. Give me your grace to walk in there. Because that's all I want. Don't care about nothing else. Ain't got time to argue with people about whether the earth is round or flat, or whether I should be wearing a beard or not, or whether I'm going to put a bandana on my head and call it a mitri, even though it's called a mitre. I ain't got time for that. I want his spirit on me. I want to glow on my face like Moses had. I want to walk through the wilderness and have him give me that manna and that water and trust in him. And brothers and sisters, we better all have that goal if we're going to make it. He's going to purge out from among us the rebels. He's going to cause us to pass under the rod. That means a deliverance, like with Moses. They passed through the Red Sea under his rod. That means he's going to deliver us miraculously from these cities and these suburban cities and these suburban towns and municipalities into wilderness. And he's going to provide for us. The Bible says that the Israelites' shoes did not get old. Their clothes didn't get old. Their feet did not swell for 40 years. Now, we're not going to be out there for 40 years. We're going to be out there for 3.5 years. It's going to be shorter than that, maybe, because he's going to cut it short in righteousness. But we're going to be out there. And unlike the Israelites, it's going to be hectic because all the heathen going to be after us the way Ahab was after Elijah. Ahab was looking for Elijah all over the places of the Philistines and the Moabites and Ammonites and Israel and Judah. He was looking for Elijah anywhere. Couldn't find him. Why? Because the Most High hid him. Just like he hid Messiah in Egypt. He hid Elijah too, and he's going to hide us as well. We're going to be scattered all over the earth. We're not going to be in one place. That would be silly, right? They'll be able to find us easily. If all of us 144,000 plus men, women, and children are going to be in one place, they find us very quick, right? No, we're going to be scattered throughout the earth. And they're not going to find us. They're going to be after us. And when they do finally find us, it's the day of our deliverance. That's going to be the sign of the day of our deliverance. But we would have had to be prepared in righteousness. Don't worry. We're going to exact revenge on the heathen. Messiah is going to lead us. He said he's going to rule over them with a rod of iron and break them in pieces like a potter's vessel. He said his garments are going to be stained in Isaiah 63 with their blood. So yeah, they're going to have a problem. They were the most violent people on earth are worried about violence from us. Watch for our big brother, Messiah. When he come back, you're going to find violence. Anyway, history repeats itself. Jeremiah chapter 29. The Israelites were taken captive, right? They were taken captive, and when they were taken captive, they were promised through the prophet Jeremiah that their captivity was going to last for 70 years, which is what also Zechariah mentioned. If you notice, it mentioned the 70-year period. And then at the end of that 70 years, the captivity was going to be turned. So that the end of the 70-year period, in their case, represented the beginning of the destruction of Babylon. Right? So Babylon's destruction, which is outlined in Jeremiah chapter 50 and 51, was determined after the deliverance of the Israelites. Again, I want to stress, history to the Most High is only concerned with those things that touch his chosen people. Okay, that's the history he's concerned about. And it's interesting because brothers and sisters, I mean, y'all know, especially if you Hebrews, you understand it. If you grafted in Gentiles that are awakened also understand. They try to ignore our history, don't they? Huh? Like if you go to American school system, what you know about Timbuktu or the Kingdom of Mali or the Kingdom of Ghana? What you know about Nefertiti from Egypt and all the kings and pharaohs of Egypt? What you know about? You don't know nothing about that, and you won't, because they want to hide your history. That's why the Bible calls us in Psalms the hidden ones. The hidden ones. They conspire, the heathen conspire against his hidden ones. Hey, Ruth. Yeah. conspire against his hidden ones because they're trying to hide our history. But see, they done messed up, not knowing that when that Caucasian man, that Anglo-Saxon man, William Tyndale, translated the Hebrew scriptures into English, and then they brought us and made us learn this foreign tongue, they done messed up. Because now during the awakening, we're realizing in their language who we are. And by them trying to create a Caucasian Messiah and make us worship them because they're Caucasian and make us be spotted because we got brown skin that we can't hide anywhere because our skin is brown. The Most High used that as a badge to say, oh, them same brown people that you tried to trap by the color of their skin, that's my chosen. That's my chosen. See? That's why anybody say, well, the color doesn't matter. They lying. They are lying because they made the color matter. And somebody that tried to say to you, I don't see color. They lying. We all see color. Ain't nothing wrong with seeing color. We all see it. Don't deny what you see. What they're trying to say is that everybody's the same to me. That's a lie. If everybody's the same, George Floyd wouldn't be dead. If everybody was the same, Eric Gardner wouldn't have got choked to death. If everybody was the same, Mr. Arbery could have jogged down that road and had no problem instead of getting murdered. If everybody was the same. But no, everybody's not the same. See, one of the things I love about Yah's spirit of truth is that it causes us to see things as they are instead of as we want them to be or as we imagine them to be, as they are. And his word tells us not only how it is, but why it is and where we're going. That's what's called prophecy, where we're going. And this is the word he's given to us. Jeremiah chapter 29. See, many people here, realize Jeremiah 29 is almost like the Messiah's Sermon on the Mount. Remember when Messiah said, love your enemies, pray for them that use you and despitefully use you and persecute you? Why did he say that? Did he just want us to let the heathen just roll all over us? No. Then why did he say it then? Why did he say, pray for your enemies? Why did he say that? Y'all need to think about who was the Messiah's audience and where were they? And what was the situation? Let me answer the questions. Messiah's audience was Hebrews. He did not go seeking out no Gentiles, except that Syrophoenician woman, which he called a dog. No, he was teaching the Israelites. He said, this is the children's bread. He came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he's talking to Hebrews. Where were they? They were in Judea, which was occupied by who? The Gentiles. Occupied by the Romans. Why? Because of the sins of our fathers. So he's telling them, stay cool. Pray for these people. Don't be fighting with them because I'll put them in charge of y'all because of the sins of your fathers. And the Bible says about Messiah, he came to confirm the covenant with many. Confirm the covenant. See, bringing them back to the God of their fathers, away from the God of the Sanhedrin, which they had added and taken away from his word, which he came to nail to his cross. That's what he nailed to his cross. Man-made rules and regulations he nailed to his cross. Not the Yah's law, like the heathen say. The heathen from a religion called Christianity that Messiah never endorsed or created, but came from the Roman Catholic Church anyway. He was trying to tell them, stay cool. The Romans are ruling over y'all because I allowed them to. That's why I said, pray for your enemies. Don't fight with them. Don't let them pray for them because their peace was wrapped up in the Roman peace. Okay, of course, he already knew what was going to happen. That's why we just read Luke 21 and saw what happened. But let's continue. Now, the same thing here in Jeremiah. Same thing. Watch. I'm going to read chapter 29 from verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 7 to start. Same thing right here. See, so when you're looking at Matthew, the Sermon on the Mount, he wasn't talking to a bunch of Gentiles that's now telling us, I hope y'all don't get violent. We want peaceful demonstrations. He wasn't talking to them. He was talking to us and was trying to cause us to catch why we were in that situation. Our fathers worship other gods. Anytime you add to the word of the Most High or take away from it, you don't have his word anymore. You have a different God. As the Bible says, after the imagination of your own heart. But now, praise y'all, we are being called back to our God, back to his word. And most importantly, back into his spirit of righteousness. Jeremiah 29, 1-7. Watch what it says. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests and to the prophets and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah, the king and the queen and the eunuchs, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem by the hand of Elasah, the son of Shaphan, and Gamaliel, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, the king of Judah, sent unto Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captive. That's what Messiah was talking about in Matthew. And pray unto Yahweh for it, for in the peace thereof ye shall have peace. He was trying to tell them the reason y'all being carried away is because your fathers worshiped other gods. When you turn to me, I'm going to turn your captivity. But in the meantime, stay cool. Now, in neither case was he saying that they should allow the heathen to just run over and kill them. See, that's what Esther was all about. Remember what happened to Esther? They were in the Persian kingdom, and Haman had conspired to kill all the Hebrews. And then the tables were turned, and the Hebrews were permitted to defend themselves against an attack that was coming from the heathen, even though they were in the heathen land. They were going to defend themselves in the attack. That's still cool. We're not going to just let them run ramshot over us, but we don't want to go out and create problems where they don't exist. Now, we know right now they're creating the problem because they're killing us. They're reacting to what the devil knows is coming, and he's killing us. So we can defend ourselves when they're trying to kill us. We're not going to just let them kill us. But in order for our defense to be successful, we have to fast and pray the way they did in Esther. Remember, he said for 3 days they fasted and prayed, and the Most High turned the captivity, turned the thing around. They were still captive in the end.